Hey, so you might remember from earlier this month, I really super liked Kingsman: The Secret Service, even going so far as to not only give it a perfect score, but to call it one of those movies that is going to be considered super important in the future. That being said, you've probably heard that its sequel, The Golden Circle, is of a lesser quality. All the important twists are spoiled in the film's trailer, or even its poster, and blah blah blah. What does it all matter? Is this where we're at in pop culture consumption, that anything less than perfect is a huge disappointment? Isn't it possible to like something less but to still really like it? Well, let's find out. Golden Circle gives us a mostly restored Kingsman organization, with the previous film's main character, Eggsy, now being a full agent. Though the movie starts with Eggsy tangling with a minor character from the first film, the real threat this time is his new boss, Poppy, played by Julianne Moore, who has a near monopoly on all drugs sold throughout the world. Her plan is to poison the drugs and offer the antidote to the world at ransom. She knows that Kingsman will be a threat since they neutralized Valentine previously, so she takes them out prematurely by hacking into their database and blowing up their headquarters and many of the agents' homes, killing most of them. So once again, it'd be down to Eggsy and Merlin, though this time they receive help from Kingsman's American counterpart, Statesman. There's a lot of globe hopping in this. They start off, of course, in the UK, then they go to America to teams up with Statesman, they go back to the UK at one point, then to Italy, and finally to Poppy's hideout in Cambodia. During all this, we also get a subplot about Harry, who supposedly died in the previous film, but don't even at me. It's not really a spoiler, he's on the poster. So since he quote-unquote died in America, he was rescued by Statesmen, who have technology to help an agent survive a headshot. But now he has to wear an eye patch, and he lost a lot of his memory, and he's having persistent hallucinations and paranoia. The best part of the movie is the villain, Poppy. We not only get a cloyingly smug performance by Julianne Moore, but she establishes very early on how insane and ruthless she is, while still remaining demure and calm, which is pretty chilling, to be honest. Her evil lair is in the middle of the Cambodian jungle, but it's modeled after a 50s-style diner, complete with a kidnapped Elton John being forced to play for her, and she's got robot dogs. Also fantastic is Mark Strong as Merlin. He was already a highlight in the first movie, but he gets a lot more screen time and a lot more personality this time around. In some ways, I'm reminded somewhat of Men in Black 2. Eggsy is like Jay, who is a rookie being trained by his mentor in the first film, and his mentor was out of the picture by the end of the first film, but now returns with memory loss, basically switching up the dynamic. It's pretty much exactly like Men in Black 2. However, while I would best describe Men in Black 2 as flawed but still worth watching, I would describe Kingsman: The Golden Circle more as derivative but awesome. We still get the amazing action set pieces, great fight choreography, cool set pieces, funny dialogue, a great soundtrack, funny cameos, and everything else that made the first film great. And although it seems to follow a predictable formula, there's still a few surprises up its sleeve. So I think that The Golden Circle is a great film, but of course, it's not the super important accumulation of pop culture that the first one was. And like I said, are we really living in that world where merely being great and not, transcendent is a huge disappointment? My only complaint about the movie really is the entire idea of the Kingsman organization being destroyed and having to be rebuilt. It was basically the same thing as the first one, but at least this time the losses hit much closer to home for Eggsy. He goes through the ringer in this movie, but he still comes out with a quip or two. It's going to be kind of rough going into the third film. It's a prequel. It's not going to have the same central characters, and then the fourth one, which I guess probably will, is kind of a long ways out, but you could do a lot worse than a film that is quote-unquote disappointingly only super good, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.